Namaste, hi, hello, welcome to Copy and Conversation with me, Meera. Thank you so very much for all those messages and email. I'm here, I would always say, like my mentor says, my coach says, we are nothing but we are a culmination of the people we have grown up with. We are a culmination of the blessings and the wishes that we receive from the people around us. Today's episode that you're listening to, it's about journey. When we take a step, there's a journey, and when we don't take a step, there is yet another journey to it. My journey into podcasting, I wouldn't say one particular reason, but I would say that the wantingness to be heard. Yes, I'm just normal human who has a little child within, who loves to be pampered, who loves to be appreciated. We are human, right? And these are the basic asks. And podcasting was pretty simple, or rather, it is pretty simple because it's the voice, and rest is a story. I'm so glad, I'm thankful to all of you because today, if Copy and Conversation is one of the top 50 podcasts along with my cohort by Spotify India and by Idea Brews, I owe it to you all who listened to and to all my guests who gave their time and space. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing a story, how I relate to that, and how I relate to our work or business also. So taking you back in a timeline, and here I go, starting a story once upon a time. There was this king called Bharata. You heard it right? That's the name of our country, or the country I belong to, BharataVarsha, Bharata, India. Bharata was born to Rishabha, and they lived in Shalagrama. Bharata was a king, married, settled, he had children, he had wealth, he had people. Us not, he had all the basic need and a little more than that also. But there was this thing in his mind, wanting something more, something different. And he just took a drastic step. He left behind people, he left behind the wealth, he left behind children, he left behind every materialistic pleasures, every person he was attached to behind. He walked into the jungle alone, found a place, and he was living there. Absolutely. A nomadic kind of a lifestyle. One day, there was a mother deer. She was pregnant. A deer, I would rather call it as, she was pregnant. She was just drinking water and she heard a roar. I mean, it was scary. Deers know it's a roar. And this deer too, she just took a leap and she just jumped. And the unborn, the little womb, carrying the little deer, fell into the river. Bharata was watching all this. He didn't take his eyes off from the deer. He shooed the lion away. There was no roar. But there was a roar in his mind. What happened to the little deer? What is she going to do? Oh no, the mother is no more. What will happen to this little deer? These were the questions roaring in his mind. He just took the little deer took it to his bosom, gave that warmness, caressed it, just like a mother. Every second, Bharata, who was telling Om Namo Bhagavate and Vishnu, now he was just mentioning, dear, 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 oh dear, dear, what happened to you? How are you? Did you eat? Don't, go far away. There are lions and the tigers around. This was the only thing that he was mentioning and thinking all the while. The last few seconds of his life came, and he closed his eyes with the deer in his eyes, the vision, and he just died. He was reborn, and I know you guessed it right, as a deer. But this deer was special that it knew who he was in the previous life and why he was born as a deer. What is that he missed? Chanting that he loved doing. What is that he missed thinking about? Whom did he miss thinking about? And he got attached to this deer. All these questions kept coming in Bharata, who was born in another life as a deer. There's definitely a story after this, but I'm pausing over here, inviting you to definitely stop by, check in Bhagavatam or Vishnu Purana to know what happened to this Bharata after this. Aren't we in our life leading a similar kind of a life just like Bharata did? For example, we take up a task. How many times have we taken it to completion? That completion we are happy with. That completion we would call it as an outcome. That completion we would call it as, yes, this is the purpose I wish to meet through this project. We get carried away. We get carried away with those notifications. Yes, on the phone. We get carried away by allowing ourselves to get distracted with things happening around us. I don't say there is right or wrong about Bharata being born as a deer, but he definitely had a purpose in his mind. He always wanted to think about Vishnu, but he started thinking about deer. But there was a human cause, there was a humane aspect in him that saved the little deer from the lion, and he just took care of it. But what was missing is that the purpose that he wanted to. It was lost. It was lost. Don't we do this in our work, in our project? Oh, so we call it as the entrepreneurship life. We get lost in daily or those little transactions, which is nice to have, but we miss on the must to have. Thanks to my mentor who, guided me about must to have, good to have, and nice to have. Must to have, for example, in Bharata's case was about thinking about Vishnu, because that's what he wanted to, until he's 6 feet under the ground, because he didn't want to be born again as a human. I mean, this is a story that we've been hearing about so many people. So many mythological stories have this kind of a twist, wherein they think about Paramatma or the God, because they do not want to be reborn. Human life is a blessed life. Human as such is a blessed form. But there's something that we do not want to. That was with Bharata too. And jumping back to current situation, how many such works, like I was asking you, or that's a question I would ask myself too, we take it to completion? What is the reason that we miss on the bigger picture or the larger picture, and we just spend our time in nice to have aspects. We talk about brand. Brand is, it's the core, right? That will talk about your product or the services, about you, about your purpose, about your vision, and about your mission. Does a brand end with the logo that you create? Does the brand end with the color combination that you want to talk about your brand or the venture? Does the brand just end with a name alone? What about the purpose? What about the vision? What about the mission? What about that need we are looking forward to fulfill for our customers and to convert them into consumers? Bharata is a wonderful example because his journey as Bharata and as deer, it didn't just stop over there. He was reborn. He was reborn as a human again. That's a different story altogether. That also teaches us a lesson that how many of the times we miss, but we always should be coming back to the larger picture or the purpose. So that's a story I wanted to share with you all. Thank you, as always, for stopping by and listening to. We'll be back with yet another copy and conversation with me here, Meera. Ta-da, bye-bye.